So, this morning I'd like to talk about caring for this body, for this temple, for this refuge, this home, if you will, this place out of which we practice. Because often I think many of us don't give these bodies the attention they deserve until they become noticeably broken down. This, we could say, is a form of body misconduct, of not caring for the body as much as it needs and deserves to be treated. This kind of neglect can be easily missed, since many of us mostly live in our heads, right? The default mode for most modern cultures. And since the animalness of this body, the wisdom of this body, is to naturally move away from pain, which is skillful sometimes, but not always. What this means is that not being fully in our bodies is, for most of us, our way of being. We're not in. So I'd like us to consider the possibility of loving ourselves into this whole thing, into this body. Loving the hurts, the sorrows, loving our traumas and our aches and our pains into the fold of mindfulness. To see this as an invitation put forth by this precept. Instead of ignoring and denying the body and its pain, we learn to notice and caringly consider how to be with it as it is. We and these bodies have been through so much in our life already. We can't go back and undo anything, but we can go forward a little wiser and a little kinder. This is what mindfulness and the precept are encouraging. For me, this understanding took a long time. I'd like all of you to not suffer quite as much as I have in practice. For example, it was in my 40s when I finally realized that I was hurting myself by how I was sitting. Thinking I was being a good student, I tried to arrange my body as I saw teachers and other students and the statues. I tried to sit also completely still. But my body was a wreck by my 40s. Less than a decade into practice, my body was in more pain than ever. No one had taught me how to listen to this body, to what it needed to feel comfortable in its own skin as it meditates. Furthermore, no one advised me that I, or this body, could or should move naturally in meditation. That it was normal for the body to move a bit in meditation when tension released. And best to not overmanage or interfere with this process. We're not trying to be statues of meditators. These bodies are made of flesh and bones. As they release tension, they very subtly move. You'll notice the shoulders begin to slowly drop down the back. That the face and the hands begin to soften. You'll notice that the chest and the abdomen naturally move. They rise and they fall as we breathe. Let them. Allow the body to unwind as it sits and settles. If the body grows painful in practice, notice, breathe, and soften the tension that is building. This is skillful. Allow the body permission to make deliberate, gentle adjustments to settle back into comfort and ease. This is the point of the practice, actually. So the first encouragement is to be kind to this body. It works so hard for you. Be kind when arranging it in meditation. Listen to what it needs before you sit, while you sit, and during the day. What does it need to feel more at home in its skin right now? Drop that question in. What does it need to feel more at home in its skin right now? The more we sense inside this body and outside this body, so the interior of the body and the skin, the outside of the body, the more we come to know how it is, how it's changing, and what it needs. Now, it also wasn't until my 40s, a good 15 years into my practice, 45, when I realized I was living with a chronic skin condition. I hadn't wanted to acknowledge this to myself, even though I saw it every day in the mirror. I kept thinking that some medicine, that something would help it to go away, make it go away. Because if it didn't go away, well, surely it was my fault. Surely it was my karma. My default was to privately judge and criticize myself and then hide my shame. But when I realized this truth, and also realized I didn't know how to be nice to myself or to my skin, that I was rough and brutish with myself and my skin as I stood in front of the mirror. It was only when I began to realize this that I began to actively bring in reinforcements. This was when I brought in the figures of Kuan Yin, Mother Teresa, and my mother into the bathroom, truly into the bathroom. Because these beings were devoted to listening and caring for suffering. I imagined how my mother would touch my open wounds and what words she might murmur in my ear to help me hold my pain. I'd gaze at Kuan Yin's face looking back at me, and my whole body would relax, like, oh, right, like that, like that. Stand like her, step into that for a moment. Or I'd look up at Mother Teresa, and I'd imagine her working with the lepers without a trace of disgust on her face, and only love for the beingness that was before her. And slowly, with practice, with my daily encounters of working with my own pain and aggression, and reorienting towards this kind of kindness, toward this, the wisdom and the skillfulness, this caring view, that as often as I could remember that I would imagine into that view, that slowly things began to soften. My harshness began to soften. The grip of my hands, like the way in which I held my body, would soften. And it gave way to the kind of kindness I kept imagining was being offered to me, that then I could translate that and offer that to myself. This is the training of the heart toward kindness and respect for this body, this heart, and this mind. Just this shift in perspective, deliberately, many times, this attentional and attitudinal shift began to interrupt my habitual way of relating. And now it began to this kindness and care began to actually take hold. It was easier to access. And I could slowly begin to feel the softening of my heart truly as I cared for this body that was in pain. Care for Susan's shame. This is how the practice is transformative. And this is also how it's healing. Can you imagine into a loving being's perspective and then offer to yourself, to this body, heart, mind that has been through so much, that has carried so much? Can you offer kindness in that way? Can you imagine offering that kind of care and consideration as you meditate, as you go about your day, as you encounter rough energies? Can you imagine taking care of this locally? What do these selves, what do these body, heart, minds need to feel more comfortable in their skin? What does the body need to relax into itself, to feel more at home, just as it is? What does the body, heart, mind need to come out of the habit of tension and stress and to come into ease of well-being? Mindfulness invites us into this space of respecting and appreciating and caring for the whole of the organism, the whole package. Leave nothing out, body, heart, and mind. Love all of the joys and the sorrows. Love all of the hurts, all of the traumas, all of the pains into the field of mindfulness. We've all been through so much, and our human beingness deserves to be loved into the fold of mindfulness. So the invitation is really to begin to truly care for your well-being. Really consider what is needed right now for however right nows you have till the end of this life. Care. We can do this. It's for our welfare. Thank you for your kindness, for your kind attention. And now I'd like to ask you to inhabit a perspective of a loving being, what that might be, what that might be like, to imagine through those eyes and with that kind of heart and care, and feel into this body, and let's gently open it up. Let's see what it needs. Maybe lift the arms over the head if you can, clasp the wrists, gently come over to one side. Take a nice full inhalation, opening up the whole of the interior with breath. Exhaling, softening and settling all the way down through the body into the base onto the ground. Then gently come back up through center and lean over to the other side. Clasp the other wrist and land in that stretch and take a nice full inhalation there. Opening up the whole of the interior. And then softening and settling all the way down through the body into the base onto the ground on the exhalation. Gently come back up to center and slowly float the arms back down. Listen to the words. Take one hand and gently put it on the opposite thigh, and take the other hand, just put it behind you, And in that gentle twist, take a nice full inhalation. Open up the whole body in that twist. Don't go too tight so that it hurts, but feel the twist. Now gently come on over to the other side. Look over in that other direction and take a nice full inhalation. Nice full exhalation. Stay in the twist till the end of the exhalation. And come on back to center. Now, if you will, gently rock the upper body around, almost as if it were like a tree trunk, and rock it around on the base. Don't go fast, go slow, as if this tree trunk is just rocking around in the wind. Maybe 3 times in one direction, and then 3 times in the other. And when that's done, come on back to center and gently just rock the upper body all the way up to the head. Wobble the head around so it's not locked into place. Feel the chin to be parallel with the shoulders. Push the face back so that the back of the neck is part of the spine. Now gently close the eyes. Close the eyes and place the fingertips up on your jaw. Open the jaw and gently rub the jaw with your fingertips. If it feels helpful, move the jaw around as you do this. Maybe take the pads of the fingertips and just gently do a full cheek massage before putting the hands down. Let the breath be however it wants to be as you put the hands down. And feel into a posture that feels relaxed, upright, and at ease. Not too tight, not too loose. And keep feeling for comfort and ease throughout the whole of the meditation. Now gently turn attention to breathing and ride the next inhalation into the interior and feel where breathing is most noticeable in the body. Just notice that. And see if you can settle the attention back, like soften the gaze. And feel the gentle rise and fall of the breath as it moves in and out. And allow the body to yield with breathing. Now one more time to really imagine into the perspective of a loving being. is gently watching over and guiding the practice with you. Sense warmth, kindness, generosity, contentment. And with those gentle eyes, gently look to the mind and see if it's still busy with other things. And let's imagine whatever busyness remains. Let's imagine them like clouds floating in the sky up above, while this body, heart, mind sits on the ground, gently breathing, feeling as comfortable as it can. And for the next little while, let's form the intention to watch over the experience of well-being inside. kindly listen to the body, the heart, and the mind. What do they need to feel more comfortable? And for the last few minutes of the meditation, let's drop in some appreciation and gratitude for these bodies, these hearts and minds that have been through so much, that have carried so much for us, and that have brought us here today, gotten us to today. And let's drop in appreciation and gratitude for each other's presence, for the sense of community and connection of beings who are intentionally growing their hearts, just like we are. Thank you all for your practice. I'm going to stop the recording.